everyone, my name is Rod, and I'm going to read my blog post highlighting a remarkable sci-fi short film called American Quartet. American Quartet is an award-winning sci-fi drama about hope and empathy triumphing over the forces of hate and division. Set in the year 2037, the short film chronicles a day in the life of an immigrant named Noreen, who is attempting to find her place in the small town, which is now her home. In this near future, a popular smartphone app allows users to record, store, and relive memories and emotions tied to pivotal events in their lives. Noreen uses the app as a personal diary, which helps her navigate her new surroundings. Unfortunately, many citizens of the small town are mistrustful of Noreen because of her immigrant status. Blinded by prejudice, they use the app to reinforce racist and xenophobic worldviews. Motivated by her growing affection for a local civil rights activist named Antonia, Noreen courageously shares her memories and experiences stored in her app with the local townspeople, trusting in the power of their shared humanity to overcome their bigotry. American Quartet is co-written by Aaron Pennington and Adam Granick, with direction by Jessica Prudencia. It is a beautiful, captivating, and impactful viewing experience due to its timely themes and unconventional storytelling. I started the seventhmatrix.com way back in April of 2013, and I live in the Mid-South in the United States. I live in Arkansas. But I started the Seventh Matrix as a blog because a year or two before I was unemployed, and I was communicating with an acquaintance that I had at the time, and we would often share, we would go online like to YouTube and other video sharing platforms like Vimeo, and we would find these science fiction and fantasy short films that no one was talking about. And one day, my friend said, Rod, you know what? You find so much of this great content, you need to create a website. And I thought that's a great idea. And that was the seed that inspired me to begin blogging about sci-fi short films on the Seventh Matrix. Essentially, the Seventh Matrix functions to promote among science fiction and fantasy fans the best in independent science fiction and fantasy short films and web series that you can find online, whether it be YouTube or Vimeo or Dailymotion or any other online video sharing source. Passion for the subject matter that is being written about, or curiosity, interest, any of those combination of those three characteristics, I believe, make for an engaging blog, because passion and curiosity and interest, those are infectious. And if you truly are passionate, interested, and curious about gardening or car engines or science, or like my site, science fiction and fantasy, then that will just naturally flow through your writing, and people pick up on that, and that will attract an audience. It would be, first, it's helpful to figure out your why. Why do you want to blog? Do you want to do it just for self-gratification because you love writing and you want to write? Or do you want to educate an audience? Do you want to inform? Do you want to instruct? Just figure out your why, and that will be your guidepost. And then my answer to this question actually flows into my previous answer. You need to have an interest or passion for the subject matter that you're writing about. Just don't start blogging because you think that it can be another means of income, or you are looking at what other popular bloggers are blogging about. Really do some self-reflection and determine what is it that really lights you up that you want to share with other people. And that will give you the motivation on those days when you don't feel like it, or it may feel like a drudgery to continue to press. discover your writing voice and then make sure to stay true to that. Don't try to imitate another blogger who maybe is in your niche or your space, who might be more successful, because success means different things to different people, but there's only one you. So how you communicate your personality, your perspective on the world, make sure that shines through in your writing. Sure. There is a blog that is written by a gentleman by the name of Joe Malassi. And Joe Malassi, if anyone listening has heard of the series Stargate, SG-1, and Stargate Universe, and the science fiction television series Dark Matter, and more recently on Hulu, there was a science fiction series called Utopia Falls. Joe Malassi is the showrunner and main writer for those series. He took over Stargate SG-1, I think it was within 5 or 6 years after it was on the air, and of course it went on to be one of the longest running science fiction television series at the time. So he has been writing a blog almost daily since the early 2000s, maybe even before then. He was one of the first people to start blogging even before it was called a blog. And what I love about Joe's blog is that he is so transparent as a television professional, as a high-level showrunner. He will take you behind the scenes into what goes into making a television series, especially a genre series like a science fiction show. And he interviews the actors that he has worked with. He goes through his writing process. So if anyone is interested in how a television series gets made, then Joe's blog definitely is a perfect online destination to check out. Okay, The City on the Edge of, I think it's Forever. I hope I'm not messing up that name. Fellow Star Trek fans are going to roast me if I do. But what I loved about that was one that guest starred Joan Collins, and it was about Kirk and Spock and Dr. McCoy having to go back in time and having to repair the timeline. And Joan Collins is the character, and her fate in this timeline will dictate the future of the entire Federation. And it is a really well-written and moving episode of television, period, not just for Star Trek. And this is Star Trek, the original series. And I believe the episode is City on the Edge of Forever. The Enterprise, and Enterprise D from Star Trek The Next Generation. It was just a fantastic ship. I love the design of it, the functionality. If people watch those old episodes, they will realize that they used touch screens years before we actually have touch screen technology now. So that's just another example of Star Trek predicting the future. I just want to thank you, Todd, for having me on. Thank you for thinking of me. I think what you're doing with this project and spotlighting blogs is fantastic. I commend you on it, and I am just really thrilled to be a part of it.